Do you ever feel like you're trapped in a cycle where you believe that life is happening to you, where things aren't just going the way that you want them to, and you feel like you are a victim of life itself? What if I told you that every single challenge, every perceived setback, struggle, adversity, and dark night was actually an opportunity and gift in disguise? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you how to shift from victimhood to creator consciousness in a matter of seconds so that you can truly reclaim your power and reshape your reality. Hey, what's up, everybody? Christopher August here, and today I want to take you on a powerful journey within yourself. But before we do that, we must understand that we have all been deeply conditioned. We have all been deeply programmed and imprinted to believe that life is happening to us rather than through us. And as a result, we live our entire lives trapped in this cage, feeling like life is out to get us, that the universe is against us somehow. But I really want to take the time to share with you how you can break free from your own limitation or your own limited perspective and into a greater perspective, into a greater mindset where you inevitably become empowered to create the life that you truly desire. Now, before we get into all of this, first, I want to share a little bit about victimhood. What is victimhood? Victimhood is this idea that we are somehow at mercy to our external circumstances. We believe, again, that life is happening to us rather than for us. And the common signs of victimhood or victim consciousness is that we are blaming life. We are blaming others. We are blaming our past, our family, our parents, or whatever it may be. We feel controlled by external factors. We feel powerless or lack or scarcity. And we are reacting to life rather than responding to life. Because the victim believes that something outside of itself determines their destiny, their happiness, their joy, their purpose, their prosperity, and ultimate fulfillment. And when we are in victimhood, because we've all been there, we often ask ourselves these limiting questions. And these limiting questions, one, we've already talked about, why is this happening to me? Another question is, what's wrong with me? Whose fault is this? When will someone come and save me? Why can't I catch a break? Why do bad things always happen to good people? Now, I want you to pause for a second. I want you to contemplate what I just shared with you. Are any of those questions resonant? Have you asked those questions to yourself at some point on your journey? Now, if you have, that's totally normal and that's totally okay. I have myself. But there's a new way to shift out of this vibration of lack, of limitation, of victimhood, and into a more empowering reality. But before I share that, I just want to share a little bit of a story that I feel could potentially help you understand this a little bit deeper. So many years ago, over a decade ago, I was working in the corporate world. And I was successfully climbing the corporate ladder. I had just finished my master's degree, and I was being called upon by the executives of the company to assume greater responsibility and hierarchy within the company itself. And so I applied for this one position, and this position was something that I really wanted because not only was it more money, but it really gave me greater responsibility where I can actually manage a group of people. And so I went through the interview process and I was so excited and I was ready to get this new role. Well, long story short, I was turned down and someone else was given the role. And at that time, I felt completely distraught. I was just so sad. I was angry. I was pissed. And I was wondering, why didn't I get the role? Everybody was telling me to apply. The vice president of the company was asking me to apply. I thought it was a shoo-in. Why didn't I get this role? Well, aside from, my high expectations of myself and the situation, which ultimately created my own suffering, I found myself in a position where I truly felt that something was out to get me. What I didn't realize, and what I realized later on, was that there were so many gifts that came from that situation. And as a matter of fact, I was so thankful many months later when I found out what my next path would be that I didn't get that position. Because if I did, I would continue to carry on in this way in which I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. I felt actually pretty empty and I felt really stuck. But I was doing this, working at this company because I thought this was the path to success and happiness. But what I later realized is that through all of this, this was a preparation for me to accept one of the greatest responsibilities, as well as assume a life in which I was the creator, in which I was calling the shots, in which I was in my power. And an opportunity came around where after applying, I was invited to join the Peace Corps. And some of you that know my backstory, I've gone into this before, but I joined the Peace Corps and I left and moved 8,000 miles away from my home to Tanzania, Africa, where I served and lived in the rural villages of Africa for 2 years of my life, living very primal with the land. And I learned so much in that time, more than I had ever learned in school or at this job. I had learned so much about myself. And it was the exact catalyst that I needed to then do what I'm doing today, sitting in this chair over a decade later. And so if you find yourself right now in a situation where, life is feeling hard, it's feeling tough, and you are up against the wall, you are being challenged, know that this is an evolutionary catalyst and it is for you. What seems to be negative or bad in this moment can actually be one of the greatest moments of your life, because it is calling you forward into your power, into your soul's destiny. So remember that if you are going through it right now, repeat to yourself, this is happening for me. This is happening for me. And you might not believe it fully, but the more you tap into that, the more you go into that feeling and saying that with confidence, with conviction, with certainty, this is happening for me, the more you'll begin to transform and alchemize the lessons that are at stake for you, that are here for you right now in this moment. And so, what is creator consciousness? Creator consciousness is the moment that you realize you are not your past. You are not your pain, and that you are the creator of your reality. This is not about ignoring the struggles. It's not about bypassing what's available right here and the human self and the pain, the emotions that it goes through. Even myself, I go through my own emotional cycles. I go into grief. I go into sadness. I go into anger. But I know that they are all divine messengers, that all this emotion that's coming up because of this circumstance or situation that I'm faced with right now, it's here to reveal more of myself. It's here to reveal more of my light. And so when you meet circumstances with awareness, you then are taking responsibility for this moment, and you then have a choice on how to respond. Do you react? Do you react from your wounds and your trauma, or do you respond? Do you step into the role and assume, okay, this situation is appearing for a reason. Why is this here for me? And how can I begin to learn the lessons, extract what's here so that I can rise into a greater version of myself? This is where healing, where vision, where purpose, where true freedom are birthed from this higher frequency. And it's the recognition that you truly are the architect of your reality, that life is happening through you, meaning that your Consciousness is creating the movie that you are perceiving as your life, your external reality, meaning your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, your actions, your words, your energy, your frequency is creating the reality that you see. If you don't like what you see on the outside, change what's on the inside. And when you begin to change what's on the inside, everything around you begins to mirror and reflect itself to that image within. So claim your God self, claim your higher self. Some key traits of a creator, of someone that's in creator consciousness, is they take radical responsibility for their life. They're not blaming, but they're taking ownership for what's happening right now. They're choosing conscious response over unconscious reaction. They align with their vision, with their values, with their soul's purpose. And ultimately, they see every single challenge as an opportunity for growth and evolution. And some of the questions that a creator would ask him or herself would be, what is this situation here to teach me? As I said before, what lessons am I here to extract from this situation, from this circumstance that I find myself in? What strength is this experience helping me to develop? How can I take aligned action right now? What would an empowered version of me do right now in this moment? What future am I committed to creating, regardless of what's happening right now? These are all questions that you can begin to ask yourself. And when you ask yourself these questions, well, everything changes. The challenge, the struggle, the adversity that you're going through in this moment, it doesn't become as charged or intense. Sure, human emotions come up, and allow them to rise. They're beautiful. They're here for you. But don't go sucked into it as they become your identity. Now, this takes time, right? You might find yourself, in these various challenges, and time after time, you can catch yourself in victim mode, in victim consciousness, and say, you know what? Even telling yourself, I'm not going to play this game right now. And what did we say before? What is the mantra? Life is happening for me. And so you can pull yourself out of that. You can take the observer view and realize that this is all here for your soul. Now, a lot of people, a lot of you may be listening to this, maybe asking yourself, but Chris, what about the tragedies of the world? The sickness, the illness, the starvation, all of these things. Did these people create this? Now, this is a multifaceted sort of discussion, and we can philosophize all day long. But truly, if we detach ourselves from right or wrong, good or bad, we can see that it's all God. And we are playing the game of duality on the 3D level. But when we pull out and we look at it from a higher perspective, it's all a school for development for souls. Because death really is an illusion. Life goes on, life after life, and our souls carry on and take and extract the lessons we learn in this lifetime and bring them into our next lifetime. Now, maybe you have a different belief, but that's what I truly believe, that we come here as souls to learn, to grow, to evolve. And this is a very intense and primal school for that personal and spiritual development. So whatever is happening, it's as if our soul signed a contract right now or before this lifetime to come into this moment right now that we are experiencing. That nothing is a mistake, nothing is out of order, nothing is out of place. But everything is here for this moment to call us into a higher dimension of consciousness, a higher dimension of living. So right now, I would love for you to take a moment to reflect. Reflect here, right now. Reflect on an area of life where you felt like a victim. Maybe it's been recently, maybe it's been in your past. Where in your past, where in right now in this moment do you feel like a victim to life? And what I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself an empowering question. one of the questions I listed above. What is this situation here to teach me? What strength is this experience helping me to develop? What would an empowered version of me do in this situation? Ask yourself that question. Write it down, journal it, reflect on it. And if you want to pause this video, you can do so right now. And then the last thing I invite you into is your breath, because your breath is your anchor. It is your instrument. It is your catalyst. It is your guide into higher states. And it helps you to transmute, to alchemize, to transform your experience in real time. So you may want to inhale deeply and pause at the top and ask yourself right now in this moment, what is seeking to emerge through me? And as you releasing any control, any force, any resistance, letting it all go. And breathing in again, what is seeking to emerge through me? Holding, feeling that, listening, and exhaling, letting go. Surrendering the fear, the doubt, the lack, the limitation, letting it go, 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 go. You do this practice and you affirm that I am the creator of my reality, and that with every single breath, I align deeply with my true essence, my true purpose, my true destiny. Feel into that, breathe into that, allow life to move through you in this powerful, profound way. I'd love to hear your comments. Drop a line below this video if this resonated with you. And if you like this content on this channel, feel free, press the subscribe button, press the like button, help get this out to more people, share it with your friends and your family. And until then, sending you positive energy on the journey ahead. Peace.